Welcome to section 2.2, addition of real numbers. The goals for today are I can add real numbers using a number line or addition rules, and I can use addition of real numbers to solve real life problems. So the first thing that we want you to do is we want you to go to this website and we want you to explore this game. Now, this game's kind of fun, but it requires you to be able to add numbers using real numbers. So, for example, in this case, it's asking 0 plus 1. Our goal is to get to the finish line, so we're trying to get to a positive number. So you have to decide whether to go a positive or a negative. Take a few minutes and play that game. All right, on to the notes. Now, using the same tune as Row, Row, Row Your Boat, what we want to do is we want to sing this song. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number, and then you'll be exact. This is what we're going to look at. This is a good way to remember addition and subtraction of different sign numbers. We also need to know a couple properties. For example, we have the commutative property. This says the order in which two numbers are added does not change the sum. So, for example, 4 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 4. Or negative 2 plus 1 is the same thing as saying 1 plus negative 2. So you can do it either way. Now, the way that I remember commutative property is if I'm traveling in a car and I commute to Colorado Springs, it's 41 miles. If I travel from Colorado Springs to Canyon City, it's still 41 miles. So commutative property says no matter which way I travel, the order doesn't matter. The associative property says that when we have three numbers, when we add them together, it does not change the sum. For example, if I have 4 plus 3 plus 1, this is the same thing as saying 4 plus 3 plus 1. Notice my grouping symbols were around 3 plus 1 first, and then they went around the 4 and the 3. The identity property, the sum of a number and 0 is that number. So if I have 16 and I add 0 to it, I still have 16. The property of 0, the sum of a number and its opposite is 0. So 8 plus negative 8 equals 0. Let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. So in this case, this should be a problem that you're pretty familiar with. 7 plus 3. The signs are the same, so we're going to add and keep. So we're going to add them, and since they're both positive, we're going to keep the sign the same. Keep the sign positive. Same thing with letter B. We're going to same sign, add and keep. So 9 plus 8 is 17. They're both positive, so we're going to keep the sign positive. In letter C, we are going to add the numbers, negative 2 plus negative 8. We're going to add them together. The signs are the same. They're both negatives. And we're going to add them together. The signs are both negative, so we're going to keep the sign. And that's our answer. Letter D, we're going to do the same thing. 10 plus 7, add them together, 17. They're both negatives, so our answer is going to be negative. And there's your answer. All right, example 2, find the sum. So in this case, we want to find the sum of these problems. So if we find the sum, what we're going to do is we're going to do it in parts. So I'm going to do the first two together. So the signs are the same, so I know my answer is going to be negative. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now I have negative 5 plus 7. Now the signs are different. So remember the tune, same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So in this case, we have two signs that are different. So we are going to subtract these numbers. So 7 minus 5 is 2. And we're going to keep the sign of the larger number, and then you'll be exact. So my larger number is 7. 7 is bigger than 5. So I'm going to keep the 7, which is a positive. So 2 is my answer. Let's try letter B. We're going to do it in parts. I'm going to do the first two first. So 7 plus 6 is 13 plus negative 9. different signs subtract. So we're going to take 13 minus 9, which is 4. Keep the sign of the larger number. Which one's bigger, 13 or 9? Obviously, that's going to be 13, so it's going to be a positive 4. Go ahead and try the U practice. And I'm going to move on to example number 3. So in example 3, now we have some decimals and we have some fractions and we have some stuff like that. So if we do it, there's a couple different ways. We could use a calculator, or if you notice, negative 0.7 and plus 0.7, those are opposites.
Corey Marchand to the front office. Corey Marchand.
So those are opposites. So these will cancel out because we know by the property of 0 that anything plus its opposite is 0. So you just get 1.9. On letter B, if we do this, remember, anytime we do fractions, we got to have a common denominator. So negative 3 can be written as negative 3 over 1 plus 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3. If we get a common denominator, I can say 3. Then I multiply 1 times 3 to get 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so 3 over 1 can be written as 9 over 3. Now I'm going to add. So negative 9 plus 2. Different signs subtract. So 9 minus 2 is 7. Keep the sign of the larger number. Obviously 9 is bigger than 2, so I'm going to keep the 9. The negative, I mean. Now, remember, anytime I'm doing this, my bottom number doesn't change. Negative 7 plus 1, my signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So it's going to be 6. My larger number is 7, so I'm going to keep the sign there, negative. And finally, I can simplify because negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. All right. Good luck with the U practice.